Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namaste. Warmly welcome to this webinar. My name is Ruben, hosting this webinar series with yogameditation.stream. It's a cooperation between various meditation schools. So today, our topic for the webinar with Yoga Master Balakhilya is how to start a change in 2021. So we've just entered a new year, time to maybe reflect a little bit on the year to come. So Yoga Master Balakhilya, if you haven't met him yet, is a dear friend of mine and us. He's a yoga master or a spiritual teacher who has been living this bhakti yoga lifestyle for more than 50 years now. So we are very fortunate to have him with us. He is normally traveling yogi, so to speak. Right now, due to these times, we are based on an online approach. So, but that gives us the opportunity to reach you wherever you are in Norway, UK, or in the world. So you can tune in. Anyway, we're very happy to see you here, and a warm welcome as well to Balakhilya. I see that you are here. Very nice to see you, and thank you for tuning in.
Namaste, Ruben. Haribol.
Haribol.
Ruben always says a warm welcome because he's got a warm fire.
Yeah.
Always looks very cozy in his house. So that's nice. When you live in the forest in far north Norway, you need a cozy house. So it all goes together. And not only do we need a cozy house, we need a cozy heart. See, inside we need to be warm. Then everything outside, whether it's cold or not, it won't matter. Just like he's sitting in his house and it's cold outside. What's the temperature, Ruben, now outside?
Oh, minus 12, I think, right now.
Okay, it's minus 12. That's cold. Cold enough, But he's in there, his shirt sleeves rolled up and feeling very comfortable because inside his house, it's warm. So when inside our house, our body, it's warm due to our heart being warm with, spiritual heat, so to speak, then it doesn't matter what's going on outside. We're still fine. That's the whole concept behind spiritual life. So before I go further, I'd like to offer my respectful obeisances to my spiritual masters, Siddha Swarupananda Paramahamsa and Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami. Okay, so we're going to start as always with our Garanga breathing meditation. I'm going to assume that most of you have already heard at least one seminar because we've given many. So that being said, we're going to do our Garanga breathing meditation using the mantra Gauranga, divided into 4 syllables. And in our technique, we take a deep breath in all the way to the lower abdomen. And while we're taking the breath, we chant in our minds silently, Gauranga. Of course, the body does fill with air. We begin to exhale, and out loud we chant. Gauranga. And then we repeat. Before we begin, we want to relax. So to help us relax, we take in a big breath and let it out through the nose. And let your tension, anxiety, frustration go away with the breath. While we do the meditation, we want to listen very closely to the sound. Also, put the mind on the sound. Meditate on the sound. Very easy process. And once you've learned the mantra, I suggest you close your eyes because this helps us to relax even more deeply and prevents distraction. And when we finish the meditation, just sit quietly for a few moments, eyes remaining closed, and just feel that internal peace and tranquility, that internal change that's taken place in just so short a time. Okay, so everybody get comfortable. Now, everybody take a big breath, let it out, and relax. Now, very slowly, gently, and deeply inhale and chant Gauranga in the mind. Two more times. Haribol. All right, so you can see very easy meditation to do, very relaxing, peaceful, and very spiritually purifying. So, if you haven't already done so, add it to your life. See, you're talking about a New Year's resolution? That's a good one. Okay, so the information I present on all my presentations is from the Vedic scriptures, which are the most ancient scriptures of all. They were written down 5,000 years ago, but the knowledge is eternal. So prior to being written down, it was passed down orally from one perfect master to the next. Such a line of perfect teachers is known as a disciplic succession, or parampara. And a parampara is necessary for the truth to descend in its pure form. No matter how pure the source, if that pure source passes through an imperfect medium, it becomes contaminated, becomes imperfect. So this parampara keeps everything intact, authorized, as it is. We're in the parampara known as the Brahma Sampradaya, and we feel very fortunate to receive our knowledge through this lineage. So I always try to make it clear, this is not my opinion. I'm passing on this eternal science. So as we have stated also in every lecture I've given, we are not our material bodies. You see, like I say, I'm assuming most of you have heard this before. We walk around throughout our whole life identifying ourselves with the body, according to our gender, our race, our nationality, our family affiliation, our age, our occupation, our marital status, whether we have children or not, etc., etc. You see, and this is who we are, but it's not who we are. This is just a compilation of many labels stuck on this outside covering, this gross material body. We're not this material body. Scripture declares it. The scientists have proven it. Every 5 years, and now they're updating this as time goes on. But, originally they said every 5 years we have a new body because all the cells, all the components, all the molecules, everything that makes up the body has changed. So, we have a new body all the time, but we don't change. You look at a picture of yourself, 35 years ago? Well, since that time, you've had 7 bodies. But you're not 7 different people. See? So the changing factor is the material body. The constant factor is ourself. We are not these material bodies. And then some people might encourage us to look inside. Oh, look inside. Find out what you really are inside. And when we do, we find emotions and desires, sentiments, feelings, will, and they're all very real. And so we conclude, aha, now this is who I am. See, so many people identify with their desires and their feelings. Oh, I feel like this and I have these desires, so therefore that's who I really am. But according to the Vedas, that's incorrect also. That's just another material body. It's called the subtle mental body, sometimes referred to as the astral body, the psychic body. It's not us. It's the subtle layer over us. So we have 2 bodies, the physical body and the mental body. But who are we? So again, going to the authority, the Vedic teaching, we find that we are in a different category of energy. Of course, everything is energy. Our bodies are material energy. But we learn that we are spiritual energy. A tiny spark of spiritual energy, atomic in size. We also learn that material energy is temporary, but that's so obvious we don't even have to almost learn it. See, we know all too well our bodies are very temporary. So much so we don't even want to talk about that, see. But we learned that spirit is eternal. And eternal means no beginning and no end, see. So we are eternal. And we also learned that material energy is non-living. And again, so obvious. This microphone, there's no life, see. But we learned that spirit is life itself. There's no such thing as live matter, and there's no such thing as dead spirit. We're the life force inside the body. And as long as we're inside the body's called alive. But actually, this is not true. The body's dead. We are alive. And that becomes very obvious at the time of death. At the time of death, we leave the body. And at that moment, the body reveals its true nature. Can't even sit in a chair. It falls on the floor. Yes, we are the life force in the body. Therefore, our true identity is spirit soul. Spirit meaning we're spiritual in essence. Soul meaning the individual spiritual sparks that we eternally are. We never become someone else, and we also never cease to exist. Now, it's kind of amusing to me. Some people think, oh, what terrible news. See, I'll always be me. Gee, I thought it was going to be over soon. See? But when we learn the truth about life, this is wonderful news. I'm not going to cease to exist. I'm not going to die. Everybody's so afraid of death. You're not going to die. Nobody dies. You just change bodies. And it happens again and again. It's already happened, uncountable times to all of us. And it's going to happen again. Unless we do the right thing in the upcoming year. How about that? Okay, so we are spirit soul, and we're part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. There is a Supreme Soul from which we all come. We are known as the Atma. The Supreme Soul is the Paramatma. Now, understanding this, then we can address this idea of the new year, New Year's resolutions, making a change for the next year, etc., with intelligence. Many people address this issue based on their false identity, you see? But that's not going to help us at all. Not really. It might help us in some ways materially, but it doesn't really help us, the spirit soul. So that's the idea, isn't it? We identify with our body. It's our nature. We want to make life better. Life being who? Us, ourselves. What is life? It's us. It's our identity. It's our eternal self. We are life. Spirit is life. Okay? It's sad. People think they can end their life because things are so bad, in their material lives, that they think, I'm going to just solve the problem. Stop the pain, stop the suffering, stop the depressions and the loneliness, etc. I will kill myself. So what they do, if they carry it out, they destroy their body. And only the first body, the gross physical body. See? That's the most you can do. Doesn't work because it's not who I am. They still got their mental body. That's where the problems really are. See, so they still got those problems, and now a whole additional set of problems because of the activity that they just performed, etc. So anyway, this is invaluable knowledge. And coming up is, a time when we're going to have to think about, okay, I got another year coming up. What am I going to do? Where did the whole New Year's resolution idea come from? Well, I don't know the exact history, but it's just logical. It came from, I want to make my life better. This year wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be. See, I wasn't as successful as I wanted to be. I had many disappointments. I had struggles that I didn't enjoy, etc., etc. I want to make my life better. I want to bring more joy into my life. I want to bring more happiness into my life. I want to bring more light into my life. I want a brighter future, for 2021. I don't want the same old gloom and darkness, you see. And if it was a bright year, somehow, I can't imagine that. But anyway, let's just say this theoretically. Then we're going to try to make it so I can maintain that one. It was wonderful. I achieved whatever my goal was. But I'm going to make it even brighter by making my material situation expand further and further into the realm of happiness. You see? That's where it's all at, right? As far as we know, because I'm just trying to make my life better by making my material situation better. Now, why is it that people make New Year's resolutions and almost all the time they break them? They break them. They can't keep them because most New Year's resolutions are based on I have to control my senses. See? Let's say we're overweight. And many people are. There's some statistic like 40% of the people in America are obese. And that's not even just overweight. That's extreme overweight. And it goes on up from there. 60, 70% are overweight. So people recognize that is not a good thing. Maybe for health reasons, it's increasing our risk of diabetes, or we have diabetes as a result of it. Our heart, problems are increasing, cardiovascular disease, the risk of a heart attack, etc. So, okay, I want to lose weight, but that's not really the main reason for many people. It's because I don't look the way I want to look. If I lose weight and can fit in smaller clothes, people, when they look at me, will be more attracted to me. It'll be a pleasant picture that they see, which will project some happiness on them, and they will like me because I'm their object of pleasure, and therefore their senses will be stimulated in a positive way. This is really why people most of the time want to lose weight, you see. But anyway, let's just say that's the story, and we make that resolution. But what does that mean we have to do? Number one, we got to eat less. Most overweight people are overweight because they can't control the tongue. Their joy in life is connected with their taste buds. See? So they eat way more than they need to keep the body and soul together, way more than they need, to have energy for the day and whatever. And then it goes into the negative effect, consuming more calories than are burned. They accumulate in the body, they're stored in tissues, the fat cells increase, etc., etc. That's how it works. You take in more than you burn, you get fat. So that's one thing. But I like to eat, so we do. We have to choose. Losing weight and not enjoying my tongue, or controlling the tongue and losing weight. So maybe I start out with great determination. I'm on some diet, and there's a new one every day. Fad diets come and go. I mean, over the time I've been, involved in, this idea of eating and food and healthy eating and, vegetarian diet and yoga lifestyles and so on, which is well over 50 years. I've seen, I would say, hundreds of diets. Comment, everybody's doing this one and everybody's doing that one. And this is a bestseller book. And then another book replaces it and another one, But it doesn't really work because you have to control your tongue. So you do for a while, you're so determined, I'm going to do this. And maybe you do feel better and you lose a little weight, but gradually you just kind of start slipping back. Oh, that extra little sweet. Or maybe we're not eating any sweets, but just one small one. A little piece of chocolate here and there. And pretty soon it's just like it lights the fire of enjoyment. And pretty soon we're kind of just sliding back. And, we could care less. We look in the mirror, oh, I'm losing ground, but I can't stop. We're out of control. We can't control the tongue, you see. Or whatever other organ is causing us problems, our sexual desires cause so many problems, for so many people. And people say, okay, I'm not going to do this anymore, but we're not in control of our senses. Our senses are in control of us. One of the control of the modes of passion and ignorance, these strong material influences on our psyche. And therefore, again, we lose the battle, or we've got some addiction to alcohol or drugs or cigarettes, and of course it's obvious that's not good, although, we sometimes are in denial. Oh, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't need to drink. Okay, you don't need to drink, then don't drink for the next month. See? And they can't do it. We've become dependent on it physically, psychologically, emotionally. We have a little stress in life. We've got to have some shelter. We run, take a drink, or smoke a cigarette. So many people quit smoking because of the fear of cancer. They finally let the, fear of cancer override their desire for cigarettes. Maybe they do quite well. Maybe they're in some rehab program, and it's working. They made the resolution, I'm not going to smoke. I'm going to give it up, you see. And then some stress comes into the life, some trauma, occurs. They have some drama that comes up, and they don't have any protection, any shelter. They're nervous, they're stressed out, and they run for the cigarettes or the alcohol or the drugs or all of that. You see? Because they're not in control. They're controlled by the external forces. My father was quite a wise person in many, many ways. I remember, many things he said that just really, were true. They made sense. He never smoked in his whole life. He never smoked. He never drank. And of course, back in those days, basically nobody took drugs, So anyway, he told me one time when I was young, growing up, fatherly advice. He says, the reason I never smoked and drank is because I didn't want some external force controlling me. At the time, I was thinking, yeah, okay. But it made more and more sense as time went on. You say, external force. Well, really, the whole material energy is an external force that's controlling us. You see, I mentioned the mode of passion and ignorance. It's goodness, passion, and ignorance, modes of nature. And the passion mode and the ignorance mode are the modes that take us down, take us away from what is good for us, for our real well-being, both physically, mentally, and spiritually. Mode of goodness nourishes us, nourishes the physical body, the mental body, and the physical identity, our true self. It nourishes us. But nobody's under that mode, basically speaking, you see. So when we make our resolutions, all we're trying to do is readjust our material situation, at least in our minds, at least with good intentions, so that life will be better. I will lose weight, or I won't be, under the control of alcohol and do all the stupid things and the destructive results of that, or the drugs, or the cigarettes and whatever, Or maybe we go to a little bit subtler level, not just the gross physical, but a little bit deeper, the subtle mental level. Maybe we're plagued with anger. We have anger issues, and we know that's really causing a lot of problem for myself and other people. Family relationships, are damaged or destroyed. And relationships with other people. I can't even keep a job because, I have such anger outburst at work that I get fired because the other workers just can't handle it. But I'm a problem for the whole workforce, so I can't keep a job, and so on. And all this, manifests itself, in a way that I decide I got to control my anger. But again, we can't do that. It's not just a mental decision. I'm still under the influence of passion. I haven't done anything about that. I'm trying to change something without getting under the influence of that which causes the problem. See? And that's why it doesn't work. I can have all the right intentions, but when I'm in ignorance, I don't know how to make it so I can fulfill those intentions. You see? What is the mode of passion? What is its main, let's say, instrument or force of control? What is its magic, or what is its spell? That's a good word. What is its spell that makes it so I can't even resist it? It's lust. That's what it is. It's lust. We're under the control of lust. And out of lust comes all these things, all these sensual desires that I just cannot control, because lust is so powerful. It burns like fire. It's described in our main Vedic scripture, Bhagavad Gita. Lust is like fire. It's never satisfied. It just burns and burns. The senses are the representations of lust. See? So my eyes, all they are, they're just inanimate objects. They just are, the tools which I can see. But under the influence of lust, my vision is that I want to get this, I want to enjoy this, I want to consume this, I want to exploit this, I want to control this. You see, that's a lustful vision. Whether I'm looking at a beautiful woman, or whether I'm looking at a business deal, or whether I'm looking at a new car, or whether I'm looking at an athletic event that, I could win, or whether I'm looking at whatever it is, anything in life, when I have the vision of lust, you see, that's in control, and it defies intelligence. Maybe I know that's stupid. I shouldn't do this, but I can't not do it. You see, in skiing, I involved in skiing for many, many years. And when you go skiing, not in resorts, but it's called backcountry skiing, then you enter a realm where there's a lot of increased danger from mainly avalanches, So there's all kind of warning signs and trainings you can do and equipment you can have, and courses to take and avalanche reports for the day, et cetera, to kind of give you knowledge of the conditions so you can avoid getting caught in an avalanche. Well, maybe you have all the equipment and the knowledge, you've taken the courses, you practice, you've trained, you know the report, and it's not a good report, it's not a safe report. But you want to go anyway because your desire is, I want to go. So you go and you're up on top of a mountain and you're looking down and it's a perfect run. I mean, the snow is perfect. It's going to be deep and it's going to be powder and it's going to be full of enjoyment. But you also know the danger is very, very great. The risk is greatly increased. Maybe there's been a warming in the temperature, over the last couple of hours. And that just accelerates everything. But so your intelligence is, don't do it. It's not safe. Better you don't do it. But your lust overpowers that. And you say, but I'm going to do it anyway. And you do it, and you're getting caught in an avalanche and you die. You see? You didn't use your intelligence. Your intelligence sent you a message, but your lust was so great that you denied the message, you turned a deaf ear, and you took your chances and lost. That's how it is in the material world when we're controlled by lust. It's not able to we're not able to withstand this force. You see, it basically makes us do things we shouldn't do. So when it comes to New Year's resolutions, as long as we're under the control of lust, you see, how are we going to do the right thing? You know, how are we going to do the right thing? Because lust is not our friend. In Bhagavad Gita, the Supreme Lord Krishna states very clearly, lust is the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. Actually, Arjuna, the conversation of Bhagavad Gita is between Krishna and his great disciple, Arjuna. And Arjuna asked him exactly that question. What is it that makes me do things, even against my will, as if controlled by some invisible force? This is nothing new. This is not 20th century stuff. This is as it is in the material world since time immemorable. So this was 5,000 years ago that question was asked, but it could have been right now today. Same thing. No different. And the Lord's answer was, and remember, the Lord is the source of all knowledge. Everything comes from the Lord, all understanding, every truth, every aspect of life that I need to know comes from the one source. So his perfect answer was, it is lust only, Arjuna, which is born of contact with the modes of passion and is later transformed into wrath and is the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. You want to know what the enemy is? That's what it is. Lust. It's the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. Now, on our external consciousness, not understanding any of these absolute truths, we see the enemy as another country, for instance, that want to, sometimes it may be imaginary, sometimes not, but they want to take over our country, or they want to control us. They want to somehow exert their influence upon us. And we don't want that. So they're the enemy, you see. Or they're the enemy because they control things that we want to control. It goes both ways all the time, you see. So there's the enemy. Or the competitor in my business is the enemy because, he wants to take away some of my business. Or the competitor in a relationship situation, that someone wants to steal the one that I have my eye on, the object of my pleasure. Now, this other person wants, they're the enemy, you see. Or coronavirus is the enemy because it wants to come into my body and destroy my body, you see. Or whatever, cancer is the enemy because it does the same thing. Whatever it is, I see it as the enemy. And I'm always trying to just deal with that. Okay, we're going to build nuclear weapons or supersonic weapons that are beyond that will be able to destroy these guys. And they're doing the same thing over there. They wear this uniform, we wear that uniform, we have this democracy, and they have that thing. Political ideals, they're the enemy, whatever, see? Or whether it's, control this or that, the virus or the cancer, or, put this guy out of business, or it doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. It's just different aspects of the same exact thing. That's the enemy. That's what we think. That's not the enemy. Krishna says, lust is the all-devouring sinful enemy of the world. That's why I'm addicted to all these things, the alcohol, the drugs, the cigarettes, the uncontrollable sex desires, and this and this and this and whatever. You see? That's why. Because I'm trying to be the enjoyer. See? And so I make a New Year's resolution to lose weight. And even if I'm successful, somehow I can stick to the diet, and I do lose weight, and I do feel better, and my health does improve, and my blood pressure goes down, and my diabetes, decreases, and maybe I'm off my insulin, and, the doctor gives me a good report on my heart condition and whatever, and I feel very, successful. I did it. I won. And I feel really proud about myself. You see? I'm still in the same position. I'm still under the control of lust. I'm still in the mode of passion. I'm still looking for happiness from an external material source. I still don't know I'm the spirit soul and that my only real happiness is in spiritual happiness. I don't know any of that. I'm still completely ignorant, but I think I'm so wise. I'm so successful. Now I'm preaching to other people. You should try this diet. You should try this rehab program. I took this supplement, and it, helped in this condition and that condition. And now I'm advocating a better life for other people. But I don't even have a better life really for me, the spirit soul. My material situation has improved, yeah. But then everything in the material world changes, you see. Maybe I achieve so much materially, whether it's health-wise or relationship-wise or, business-wise or whatever-wise, I moved to a new place, and the people are much nicer and the climate is wonderful and whatever. But I'm still the spirit soul void of spiritual happiness and spiritual pleasure. I'm still controlled by lust. You see, I still have my attachments. Now I'm attached to another set of attachments, perhaps, but I'm still attached to the material world. Old age comes, it doesn't care who I am, how much money I have or don't have, what my name is or isn't. Old age comes to everybody. You can read in the paper every day some famous musician died. The father of rock and roll, or, the first, black person who ever entered into country music, Charlie Pride, and he was a huge success, wonderful musician. I listened to his music, before, but he died, 86 years old, he died. We all die. He got old. You can't stay young. You cannot. That's built in. You're going to get old. What is all this going to do for you that you've achieved? At the time of death, zero. You died being in the Hall of Fame. You still died. All your relatives talk about what a wonderful person you are. You still died. All the New Year's resolutions that you kept, and each year you got better and better because you made a new set anyway, you made a new set to make the old set better. Enhance. That's the word I was looking for. You enhance the last ones with new ones, and you just keep getting better and better. Old age still comes to you. Say you die a successful old person, but you still die. You leave all that material success behind, So what we're saying is, until you know who you are, until you know how to achieve your goal of happiness, till you really know how to make yourself better, to have a really better life, and remember, life is us, to be a better person. See, that's another one people often say, I want to be a better person in 2021. How do you be a better person? By knowing who you are, number one. If you don't know who you are, how are you going to be a better person? You see? A better person is a person who's actually more purified spiritually, who has become free of the illusions that make us under the control of lust, who is actually developed gradually under the guidance of a perfect spiritual teacher and this Vedic knowledge, you see, who has lived a life in accordance with those teachings. So he's gradually come out from under the influence of lust and come under the influence of the mode of goodness. He's begun to experience real internal peace and happiness. He's begun to actually taste the nectar for which he's always anxious, which is real love. You see, real love, not temporary, affectionate lust for another person in this world that doesn't really satisfy. It's not really absolute. It doesn't truly make us happy. You see, as good as it may be, and that's very rare, it's still not good enough, and it is temporary. I have to separate from that one who was giving me so much, because death doesn't recognize that as a valid reason not to die. It doesn't work like that. You see, she dies or he dies or they both die. I just read about a couple in New Mexico, a small town in New Mexico, Chandler, New Mexico. And they had been childhood sweethearts. In school, they grew up, they got married, they had a happy life. They had a very nice daughter. They weren't that old. The daughter was 17, But they both contacted COVID-19, and they both died in the hospital, separated from each other, within 4 hours. They both died the same night. You see, one died, the other died. It was wonderful, but it didn't last, you see. And he was a wonderful community worker, and all the people were talking about how he always cared about other people, and so on and so on and so on, you see. You can't make these things last forever. That song, "Let's Make This Dance Last Forever," is a song. It's not reality, you see, no matter how good the dance is. So the Vedic teaching is very direct, very clear. You are a spirit soul. You're a part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. Your real life is in your spiritual relationship with the Supreme Soul. All of these, lives that we, call life are really just temporary stopovers, from one material body to the next. Playing the same game of trying to enjoy the world, make the best of a bad bargain, enjoy the senses. Everybody's got their formula for what that may entail, but enjoying your senses, you see, having your mind stimulated, meditating on the pleasures, meditating on the good times, avoiding as much distress and pain as possible, you see. And they think that's the goal. That's what it's all about, but it's not the goal. No real teacher that came into this world to save us from this illusion told us that. Lord Jesus Christ, we just, went through Christmas. Christmas is a celebration for Lord Jesus Christ, a festival honoring the birth of Lord Jesus Christ. What was so special about Jesus Christ? He came to tell us the truth. He knew the truth, number one. That was very special. He had that perfect relationship with his Father, the Supreme Lord. That's amazingly special. And he gave that whole opportunity of having that same relationship of love and devotion to the Supreme Lord, which is our eternal perfection. He gave that opportunity to everybody. He encouraged everybody to do the same thing he was doing. Serve Lord, serve God, love God. You see? That was what made Jesus special, But we don't even want to know about Jesus in most cases. I already spoke about that, Christmas is not about Jesus. Christmas is about Santa Claus, about getting things, about enjoying our senses, opening the presents and, I'm going to have a good time, enjoying this present, or, seeing somebody open our present and say, oh, I enjoyed that they enjoyed my present. Nothing about Jesus, nothing about that at all. Just going on in the same old way, and having, a lot of alcohol usually and intoxications and having a Christmas party. What is a Christmas party? It means a lot of intoxication, and a lot of food that's not healthy, and just feeling really bad the next day, just like a New Year's Eve party. That's coming up. You're going to have a New Year's Eve party and a New Year's Day hangover. That's how it works, because we're trying so hard to be happy. So when you make your New Year's resolution, make it with intelligence. Make it based on truth. I, the spirit soul, want to turn my life around, not just keep doing the same old thing in another way. I want to actually take a new path in life, a path that leads toward spiritual perfection, a path that leads toward a loving relationship with the Supreme Lord. I want to know the Lord. I don't even maybe know there is a Lord, a supreme person, God. I don't even know if it's true. But if it is true, I'd like to know it's true. And if it's not true, I'd also like to know that. I don't want to be in this state where I'm saying I'm an atheist, there is no God. And I don't even know if that's true. How many atheists really know there's not God? Zero. They do not know that. They declare that. They feel that. They're convinced of that because it's convenient for them. They can go on and live their godless life without any feeling of guilt, They can do all they want to do, not worrying about the afterlife. What afterlife? There's a one-time shot here. Enjoy it to the fullest, But they don't know it's not true. So even if I don't know if there's a God or not, I should want to know if there is one. I want to know there is one. If there is not a God, I want to know that as well. So I'll have a very, very true understanding of where it's all at. See, that's a good step. That's a good resolution, And then you do what is necessary to actually pursue that path, And deep in our heart, there's the Lord. Paramatma, the Lord in the heart. And if I start feeling like that, if I start declaring that like that to myself in this way, I start deep inside making these convictions, God immediately responds to that. And He helps me. He helps me. He gets involved in my life directly. He's always involved. It said not a blade of grass moves without the sanction of the Lord. I couldn't exist without the sanction of the Lord. See, but He gets directly involved in helping me get out of the illusion and move toward the truth, to get out of the influence of lust and come into the world of love. You see, lust is just a perverted reflection of love. See? So these kinds of resolutions, will really make our life different. It will be a really good 2021. It will really be a different year. And what happens on the outside, it doesn't matter. Whether COVID comes or goes, or another one. There's always one right around the corner. So they, do all the magic that they do, which, I got no... Anyway, that's not... Anyway, and COVID somehow is history. There'll be another one. Don't worry. And old age will come, and, there'll always be, diseases, and there'll always be, struggling in relationships, and, death is always chasing us, and, we can't run fast enough. It always catches up, and when it's time, it's time. So, that's not going to change. You can't change that, but you can change your understanding of that. Your relationship with the Lord will protect you from that. Just like I said about Reuben's house. It's 12 degrees, minus 12 degrees outside, but he's there in his other shirt was too hot. He had to take it off. Now he's in a T-shirt. You see, because it's warm inside. See? And if it's snowing out there, if it's hurricaning out there, whatever, doesn't matter. He's warm inside. So when we're warm inside in our relationship with the Lord, our hearts are warm, you see. Our minds are peaceful and pacified. We have shelter, we have protection, and we know that. Then the external world will be what it is. We're not trying to change the external world. Some people think that should be the goal, to change the external world. You know, how are you going to do that? You know, climate change, it's been climate change from the beginning. There's been ice ages, and there's been this age and another age, you know. Yeah, do what you can. We're not saying, you know, be a bad person in that way. Environmental consciousness is very important, but it's not the solution. The solution is in the heart, you see. So that should be your resolution, you know. Take the mantras that we chant. Take this mantra meditation technique, which purifies the heart, purifies the mind, brings us directly in contact with spiritual energy, transcendental sound, the spiritual Lord himself. The transcendental sound connects us. Let that be your connection every day. Let that be your connection every day. You see, when you wake up in the morning, why not do Gauranga? Make that a resolution. Okay, every morning when I wake up, I'm going to practice Gauranga meditation. Okay? You can even set a time, 5 minutes. See, it's good to set a time because at least you're going to do it that much. So it gives you a little another goal to reach. Okay, 5 minutes. Okay, 4 minutes. Okay, did it. And then you increase it. Okay, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, whatever. Maybe you're going to come to a point where you're doing 30 minutes every morning. It'll change your day, and it'll change you, the spirit soul, from being, a person in illusion, controlled by matter, to a person who's becoming more and more and more enlightened in the absolute truth, and more determined to overcome whatever obstacles might be in the path, to have that wonderful relationship. And you're going to start experiencing that. Let that be a resolution. Listen to lectures like this. We're presenting them frequently. Ruben can give you many links. You're linked right now, and there's a lot of information with our spiritual masters' teachings and the scriptures we study and the mantra chanting and the congregational chanting with music, which we're going to do right now. You see, and you can get involved and let that come in and purify. It's not your willpower that's involved here. In all these resolutions, it's about how much willpower do I have? Oh, I'm too weak, or I don't have enough willpower. We're not talking about that. We've got some power here, in the form of the holy names and this transcendental truth. That's not our power. We're just coming in contact with it. We're just accepting it. We're letting it do the work. We're letting it be the magic, the prevailing force that defeats lust. You see, there's only one force stronger than lust, and it's love. And we're talking about divine love. We're not talking about temporary romantic feelings. So let this be something to think about when it comes time to make a New Year's resolution. Maybe you never even made one before. Why not be the first year to make one? Many people don't make them. Not everybody makes New Year's resolutions. Just a few people, really. And of that fewer maintain them, you see. But let this be the year that you start. But not these, I'll make my material life better. I'm going to make my life better, my eternal spiritual existence better. Let that be the direction that you choose to go in 2021. And it'll be the best year you ever had. And that's just the beginning. That's just the beginning. And if somewhere along the way in 2021, it's time for you, the spirit soul, to leave your present material body, you'll be much, much, much better equipped to do so. You see, we don't know when that time is coming. It could be, anywhere, anytime, you see. But if we've done what we set out to do for one day in 2021, and then we have to leave, that's made 2021 and your exit much, much, much different than it would have been. Okay, so these are things to think about. You see, this is food for thought, not food for the tongue and not food for the mental body, how to enjoy the world. This is food for thought for the soul. This is soul food in its truest form. See? Okay, so enough being said there. Let's chant the mantra Gauranga, Hari Bol. We're going to do it to music. I'm going to chant the mantra, and you just listen. And then I have some friends here with me here at our Chintamani studio. They are going to respond, and I'm going to listen. When they respond, you chant with them. See, very simple. Gauranga and Hari Bol are the two mantras, may be combined or may be separate. Just listen and repeat. And let it just, you don't have to think about it, just let it sink in. Just be like a sponge. You see, you just open up, not only the ears, but your heart, and just let it sink in. Try it. 10 minutes later, you'll know. Because that's how much time we have. Okay. Gauranga. Everybody.
Gauranga Haribo.
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 Haribo Gauranga.
Haribo Gauranga.
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 Gauranga Haribo.
Gauranga Haribo.
Gauranga Haribo.
Gauranga Haribo.
Okay, so that is called Sankirtan. That is congregational chanting of the holy names. So, very wonderful to get together with friends. See, people like to get together. Now with COVID, I'm not promoting gatherings, but, you know, in other times, but we still get together online, you see. Right now, we're together. We have meetings all the time, gatherings all the time, where we're all chanting, you know, online. So it's safe. We're not going to catch COVID over the internet, so far anyway. Our computers get virus, but they're not transmittable to humans. So we get together and chant, you know. Let that be one of your resolutions. You're going to have to go out of your way to fulfill any resolution. You know, that's what it means. You got to go out of your way. You got to do some effort. It's not just going to happen automatically. So you're going to have to go out of your way anyway. Why not go out of your way to enhance your life, truly, spiritually speaking? So as far as the diets I was mentioning and so on, We're not against good diets. You know, we're all vegetarians. You know, we promote yoga lifestyle, vegetarian diets, better for your health in every way. If you want to make a diet change and you're not already vegetarian or vegan, please go in that direction. You know, that'll enhance your spiritual growth as well, you know, and it makes your heart more soft. It curbs a lot of aggression, many things, you know. So anyway, I didn't want you to think I'm just poo-pooing diet. We're very into diet. And you can learn more about that at another time. Time is up. We've got to go. Ruben, thank you very much for hosting.
Namaste, Haribol. Thank you. Thank you, Balakhilya. And thanks all of you for joining. And see you next week for Mantra Sunday next week. If you'd like updates on upcoming events with us, with Balakhilya, then if you got a message from yogameditation.stream that we are representing, just click on that on the subscribe button and we'll make sure to email you or send a Facebook message every week so you know what's up. And more than that, you know, welcome to tune into our offline or online classes, offline whenever possible, and yeah, wish you a great start of this new 2021 year. Namaste, Haribol. Thank you for joining.